is USCIS processing cases faster? And the answer is yes. But unfortunately, it's not for everyone. So we're going to go into a little bit more detail. Friends, my name is John Ting, immigration attorney in the United States, helping everyone across the world, helping you solve your immigration problem. Here's a positive win, positive story here I want to share with you. We filed an adjustment of status case based on marriage. That person had entered with a visa and overstayed their visa, got married maybe a couple weeks later or a month later, filed their case in November. And we just last week received approval. Several cases actually received recently in the past week an email asking for the medical exam. And look, USCIS is not entirely smart. They do have an automated system, which is just surprising in the first place. But it was basically asking for the medical exam, even though, and they didn't, it's like basically a robot. They didn't check, no one checked physically if the person had mailed in a medical exam at all. So I know some clients were kind of freaking out, like, why do I have to pay more? USCIS had an automated system. That's just amazing to begin with. So it's not asking you to literally provide a medical exam. But what we do recommend is that you be ready. If you know you didn't provide that medical exam, you want to go ahead and get that medical exam, okay? Generally, us immigration attorneys, we're also just very wary, skeptical when we receive an email like that. But I checked the email address. It looked legit. It had at uscis.dhs.gov, something like that. And it looked legit. And, just speaking with other colleagues, it's a legitimate request. The only thing is that it does not have a due date because it's not a formal request for evidence. It's more about a courtesy update. Hey, you need to give us this medical exam, which I'm honestly surprised, because why I am surprised is because if they don't receive that RF medical exam, then they can deny you. Okay, that is possible because you do need to provide it. So in the years past, like if your case had been filed more than a year ago, 2 years ago, and it's now finally receiving this type of email, and you're wondering why the heck they couldn't do that before, well, they're getting better, okay? I know we give them a lot of crap, and we still do, but they're getting a little better in terms of that. But you want to go ahead and go to the uscis.gov website, and they do have, I believe under tools and resources, there is a page about the location for medical doctors, essentially. Now, they have that separate page. I don't know. I think it's more so because they want to make sure that people go. I mean, you have to go to a USCIS authorized, they call it Surgeon General, but basically a physician, to get this medical exam. So it's very, very important. If you're an attorney or if you receive this email, don't wait on it, especially if you did not provide a medical exam. It's on this form called 693, I-693. So you don't want to wait around because it does take, let's say you call the clinic and they're like, yeah, we're backed up, right? So you may need a schedule appointment for the week after. So you don't think that just because you call a clinic or like an attorney that we're like readily available. I mean, that's our goal, actually, at least for our law firm. But yeah, don't assume the medical clinic is going to be available on that same day or the next day. So just plan it. That's why it's important you call as soon as possible, schedule that medical appointment. And what you want to do is go to the USCIS page and go and just print out a copy of the form. I know it sounds ridiculous. The 693 form, it's several pages. Every time our client tells us about the form itself, they've told us that the medical clinic asked them to print it. If you want, go ahead and ask them if you, just in case, because you don't want to go there and they're like, why didn't you bring the form? And you're thinking, what the hell? No one told me to print the form. So it's not necessarily like a legal necessity, but I think when it comes to these kind of applications, at least our team makes it as easy as possible for you to get this done. Okay, we actually download the form and have it part of as our Dropbox folder that we share with you. So it's all there and you don't have to wait. Okay. Now, the other thing you need to keep in mind and why once you receive this courtesy email, you want to do it as soon as possible because it takes about at least a week, maybe 1 or 2 weeks for that clinic to receive, quote unquote, receive or whatever goes on internally to get some, I think lab work essentially. Get that results back so that they can finalize your exam. Now, of course, they can always provide you a copy of it, but if you want a copy for your own records, you need to ask for it, okay? Because the official records will be in a sealed envelope You cannot open it. You should not open it because number one, you paid money for it. So if it's sealed, which is what you want it to be, then you can send that to USCIS. If for some reason you opened it, it looks like it's been messed with. Like if you've seen, then USCIS is going to reject it. Okay, they're going to ask you to provide a new one. So you want to just follow all the rules, all the steps, so that you get your green card sooner than later. Okay. Now, again, this is a totally new situation with USCIS. We've received these courtesy medical emails for cases that were a bit older, and even those that are a bit newer in the sense that we filed in the last 3 months. So, what I credit, you may have seen a prior video I mentioned, at least on TikTok, is that not everyone is going to get their case done this fast. Okay, you need to keep that in mind. Number one, they're not doing this for everyone who is based on marriage. Just because I mentioned marriage adjustment status case earlier, that does not mean that you will receive this quick of a process. And here's why. Because number one, USCIS officers looking at the case file at a certain point. I can't tell you for sure if it's like early on or later, but for the most part, it's later. Because I never worked for USCIS, so I don't know that much of a detail. Okay, just being transparent. But think about this: they're not going to send a request for medical that quickly by automated email. Most likely, if you have limited marriage evidence. Okay, now I'm not talking about some people call in and say, "Oh, hey, we filed our case by ourselves before, and we only filed a marriage certificate." Or they didn't even say that. We have to ask, like, what exactly did you file as evidence? And they said, oh, a marriage certificate. I said, anything else? They're like, no. Like, of course, the USCIS, even if you look at their own instructions, okay, it's all available online. They have a list of documents. Now, of course, we're happy to provide you our list because, ultimately, if you want a peace of mind and you want an attorney to help you, it'd be our pleasure to assist you, but I know everyone's budget is different. And our goal here, folks, is that we want to help a lot of people, as many people as possible, to live and work in America freely, okay, with freedom, legally. So I know that we're not going to be able to help every single person. Some people are not eligible, okay, or some people have a sponsor who's a resident, and it just gets not want to say complex, but it can be a little tricky. It needs a couple extra steps completed before you file everything. So may need a waiver, for example. So just because you can file a petition by itself does not mean you're on the right track. Okay. You need to make sure that you use our proven checklist to help you. Now, these emails requesting a courtesy email requesting medical exam, the results, the reason they're doing this is so that you can possibly have your adjustment interview, the green card interview, waived. Voila, waived. Okay, folks. So that'd be pretty amazing, right? We've had cases recently, as recent as last week, get waived interview and approved. Just like a month ago, or in January, we had a case that took a year and got waived. And so a client was surprised. So, but at the same time, again, I'm sharing this information because some attorneys are talking about this, but I definitely don't want this kind of good news, great news to mislead you to think that just because you provide a marriage certificate and that'd be enough. No, it's not enough. All right. So y'all need to make sure you follow our checklist and file your case appropriately with or without a lawyer. Of course, I would tell you better to have a lawyer so you get that peace of mind. All right. We file cases as soon as 30 days based on our max plan, and it does include responding to requests for evidence. But to be honest, if you follow our checklist, then you don't need the max plan. You could select pro plan with us, which is the middle tier option. And if you really want it filed even sooner, then you can pay a little extra fee for that. It's separate because our pro plan is based on filing in 6 days. Of course, let's say you sign up with us on today, March 20th, and you give us all the documents possible in 20 days. We're not going to hold up your case. We're going to go ahead and review it, give you feedback to make sure we have all the documents necessary and file even sooner than 60 days. Okay. But if you want a guaranteed priority for 30 days, but you want a pro plan, middle plan, for example, there's an extra fee. So I get it. Some people don't like being charged extra fee, but hey, we're transparent. And we've heard a lot of bad stories where other people have hired a lawyer law firm, and that law firm may tell you, or you ask and they tell you, yeah, we're going to file your case timely or as soon as possible. But then you don't follow up and ask, what does as soon as possible mean? All right. What does that mean? 30, 60, 90, or 1 year from now? We've received some complaints, not about us, but about other law firms on our YouTube or all our different social media platforms. And people are saying, look, I hired a law firm a year ago and they still have not filed the case. And of course, we don't like to step on anyone's toes, but we ask, have you verified with that law firm? Ask specifically, is there a receipt notice? Because, again, I hate that you would have to hire another lawyer to do this case and get your status. But hey, we really focus on customer service. I talk about this on LinkedIn as well. So if you want to follow me, John, linkedin.com/in/John Ting, you're welcome to understand how we do kind of like a behind the scenes BTS. You can understand hashtag BTS so you can understand how we operate. Okay. All right. Y'all have a good one. Okay. Talk to you tomorrow.